Donald Trump is facing, some would say, an impossible balancing act, living up to the America First agenda, the no wars agenda, and America's role in the Israel-Iran conflict. Clearly, the Trump administration wants to demoralise the Iranian regime and ensure they don't get their hands on nuclear weapons, but how far do they go to make that happen? Here's what Secretary of State Marco Rubio said after Israel took action against Iran. He said, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran, and our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear, Iran should not target US interests or personnel. Ami, this is very difficult for the Trump administration. How can Donald Trump manage the expectations of the no-war members of the base, which are not insignificant in number?
Yeah, no, it's a very difficult situation. And frankly, look, we've talked about this before, and it's doubly true now. I think the Iran strike kind of highlighted this discrepancy and the split in the Republican Party between traditional Republicans and isolationist Republicans. I want to point out one thing first before I continue on down that road, is that when Israel was hit by ballistic missile after ballistic, like hundreds of ballistic missiles that slammed into Israel, killing Israelis, damaging buildings, the Iran deal, which is what Trump said he wanted to back out of it, he did in fact back out of it in his first administration, and went on saying we will never go back to that. Well, one of the reasons why we hated that and why that agreement was horrible was that they allowed Iran to continue to build and to develop ballistic missiles. And now you see the results today as these things are slamming into Israel, killing Israelis. I just want to point that out, okay? And why Trump took us out of that deal. But going back to the split, no, it's a significant issue. You can see, look, J.D. Vance, as someone who is aligned with the more isolationist view, he said something really interesting in the Kennedy Center not long before the attack on Iran, when he said, I'm not convinced Iran wants to build a nuclear weapon. I mean, what is he talking about? I know Trump doesn't believe that. Trump was firmly in the camp of they are trying to get it, and we will stop them no matter what it takes, including allowing Israel to do this. He knew Israel went to him and talked to him before the attack. He made that very clear, and Israel made that clear, and he gave him the green light because he understood that the talks with Iran that he was conducting were going nowhere. But when J.D. Vance says, I don't know if they want it, it reminds me, Louita, I've told the story before. It reminds me of when I met with the Obama negotiators of the Iran deal, and I asked them the same question, and we're talking about Iran and nuclear weapons. They said to me, how do you know they want to build nuclear weapons? We're experts and we don't know. It's alarming to me that he used the same language as them. But look, Trump is firmly in the camp of we have to stop Iran, and I'm glad that he did. I think the world is better off for it, frankly.
Well, what do you see happening next? Are we going to see this conflict continue until Iran is demoralised to a point that any ambitions of having nuclear weapons is gone for the time being? Or really, if you need to cut off the head of the snake, do you need to have regime change? Because the mullahs aren't going to stop after this. They're just going to regroup and launch the next campaign.
Look, regime change is, of course, ultimately what everyone wants, right? Remember this. The Iranian people are great. Look, I am Iranian, okay? The Iranian people are pro-Western. A lot of them are pro-Israel, frankly. They're very practical. They understand how the world works. The compact between the regime and its people, the reason why the regime is still around is because they made a deal. They said, look, don't get involved in the way we run the country, and we will allow you to have a great life, a material life, business and money. Well, they failed, and they failed the Iranian people, that compact, right? And I think that ultimately that's what is going to push regime change, and that should come internally. We should not be pushing it ourselves, although we shouldn't be hindering it. Look, if you guys remember, there was a point in time when there was a possible revolution brewing in Iran And Obama did not do anything to help the revolutionaries flip the regime.
No.
We definitely don't want troops on the ground. No question about it. But you want to help the people who are trying to reform that country. And he didn't do it. So yes, look, ultimately we don't know what's going to be the end result.
That one of his great failures there was Ami, where the Iranian people were putting their lives on the line and America was entirely missing in that episode. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Always a pleasure.